We did development before
Yes,
decolonization,
please.
right? Okay, thank you. Go
Yes,
ahead.
please.
Explain what you heard in the development discourse.
Okay. So,
That's a summary.
all right, we heard Jechi's view and then Radio's view on development. I thought you are coming to explain because I have a problem there, little though. But then let me
Don't
say
worry.
what I know.
Say what you want to say. I'll help you out.
So they are actually saying that when you talk about development, it should be according to Jechi, it should be something that you get to a point of time, then you can say that no, this country has developed up to some level, even though it can still continue developing, but at least it gets to a point of time. You say this place is developed. Like let's use the educational system for instance. Let's say we complete or we finish with what university, there should be some kind of development in we the student. That should show that after all, when we're in the primary and other stuff, we don't have that. But as we have completed university, we have had some kind of development, even though we could go and do our masters in other field and other stuff. So there should be he advocating for the non-continuous process model.
Good.
And uh, and then I think Weird was also saying something similar, but in a different way. He was also saying that um, development is his view. I'm not really so familiar with.
But
So
I don't know what Rudy said on development too. Tina. Rudy, the uncle about
yes,
development. That I know.
eh,
Is that something?
yeah, 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 was saying something in the class last 2 weeks or so, and then I was
Was
not
it on
getting it. I
development?
wanted to even yes, while you were out.
You let us keep to what we did there. So see, what you said was right about even the Jechi one to an extent. The only thing is, Jechi thinks if after university, like you graduate, we can say that you have developed. Everything else that comes after it is not a measurement of development any longer. It is just embellishment, if you like. It's like you finish building the house. We can say that we are done with our home, so we are moving to our home. How do you know that the thing has attained its maturity level? It has attained its functionality level. The thing can function appropriately according to what it is meant to be. So if it is a butterfly, then it has gone through the stages and now it is flying. It doesn't mean that it's, what's the name? Is it feathers? What do butterflies have? Eh? Is it feathers? It's
Wings.
wings, eh? Wings, thank you, sir. Its wings cannot change color. Sometimes they will fly and then before long it will get dotted. Let's use chicken. They can change the color of the feathers can change color and then before long you see that after a while you see some dot inside. Those are additions. They are not a definition of the thing's maturity, development per se. It is like doing renovations on the building later or painting it a different color. Those are not essential to the thing's appropriate functioning. So you can complete, says Jechi, like you said, complete the process of development. Anything else that you do in addition, according to him, are not definitive. So at point D on the non-continuous process model that he showed, at point D, the thing has completed its process. It is developed. If you go beyond point D and you have E on his non-continuous process diagram, he says that E is not anything about development. It's not stating or adding to development. It is an embellishment into so that then for him means there is a place that you can reach and say, yes, the thing has attained its maturity, its development. That is why he thinks those who talk of development in terms of the continuous process are erring. When we do that, it means it is not possible to even measure it at all. Then he brought in his two arguments, the epistemological one and the logical one. Okay. Then you can't know the thing at all to be able to even measure that. you have attained development. So I don't know, that maybe that was a confusion you said you had. If that was a confusion you had, then we have clarified it. But I don't think we did only Jechi. There was Wouter Van Hapton. There was Lansana Keita. You see, there was a third author, Amartya Sen. All these people spoke to the concept of development that we studied. You see, maybe they are views, some of the views overlap. Maybe some looked like they were emphasizing something more than another. So you have to look out for those when you are reading. That was what the IE questions demanded of some of you. The one that said with respect to the different authors studied. I think I asked that of main campus. If you touch on only the Jechi, you don't get good marks. You may get 5/8 or something if you did it well. Because we saw what Lansana Keita says about development. We saw how Amartya Sen's emphasis was on qualitative, holistic, the process must be gradual. You have to look at all angles, why he thought that economistic, just like she says, notion of development may not necessarily represent what development should be, because it's a qualitative prescription. When you say developed, according to Amartya Sen, we're making a value judgment. It's normative. So there must be standards that we're looking at, blah, blah, blah. It means that the life expectancy and everything should go into, you can tell that Jechi's focus wasn't much on those things. He was more concerned about the conceptual notion of the term. Okay? Whether you should think of it as a never-ending process or one that has a terminating point. Even if after that terminating point, you can still, you take your car to the fitting shop because it had a problem. You are just waiting for it to be able to move again and move well. The fact that you finished and the paint, some part of the car has been scratched, so it is not looking fresh, doesn't mean it is not going to do what cars are meant to do. Functioning, proper functioning. See, that is just emphasis. Before the car can move from one place to the other, if you buy fuel inside, it won't leak. If you press the brake, it will respond. If you accelerate, it will go. The essential, so to speak, which makes the thing what it is. And that is why it's a nation that cannot take care of its own. Is always begging. Doesn't have its own identity. Cannot claim that that nation and the other nation are the same. If you are always going a beg, it means you can't, take care of your own. Check it and see. So in that sense, he thinks that certain nations can be said to have developed, even if they haven't gone to space. Or they have gone to space and they lack one or two other things. That is not a problem, so far as they are able to appropriately function. And he used the zoological model to make that point. So I think that you have to look at what someone like Lansana Keita is saying about development. Which of them thinks that, the people are already biased from start. So these false categories are infiltrating our economics, our politics, everything. Before you go to table, they have already given you a definition of developed. And they say they are developed, you are not developing. So it is already conceptually flawed. This is one of the people we are reading his viewpoint. And therefore, he or she thought that we cannot pursue that. Yet she answers that partially. We have a lot of, I can critique a good number of the things that they are saying. I'm sure you can also critique those. So take note of those aspects. As for Ruedu and development, he might have written a lot on that, but I don't think that our emphasis had been on that. Unless there's an oversight, something has happened that I haven't looked at. But if not, we didn't emphasize Ruedu too much on the notion of development, okay? That would be my addition. I see 3 hands up, so let me take them in case they are added. I see Sarah's hand. Why is it that only 3 people are talking? Where is Freeman? People, I don't like that though. Now, I do want to comment. Go ahead on development. Then we'll move to the next one.
Yes, please, Doc. So with regards to development, Redu was equally saying that we are not biological creatures, or like we are not creatures who are just made up of just 4 processes that we undergo. So we should be allowed to to think and equally evolve to be who we have to be. So just like the whole building of the house, if we decide to compare ourselves to other people, we will not be able to fully maximize the way we're supposed to be like. So for Africans, if we are going to be looking at the Western world to measure our development, then that parameter would hinder our progress or our growth when it comes to development.
That's fine. Are you referencing him in Jechi or in another text? I'm just intrigued.
But it's Jechi I'm talking about.
Because I heard Redu.
Sorry, it is Jechi.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. So, Ernestina, you mentioned Redu. I don't think that we discussed a paper on Redu on development, or that we even referenced him. Maybe it is written somewhere in some of the references. That's fine. But it wasn't an emphasis for us. Mm-hmm.
Yes, madam.
So
I think last 2 weeks or so, Tia was mentioning something. I might misheard though, so I was confused. I even wanted to ask him.
Okay, it's fine. If that was what happened, then so our emphasis should be on the references. See that I'm projecting them, so that because authors write a lot of things, they say so many things. We can't do all in one content. I hope you see that. So even if there was such discussion, keep it on Jechi, the Utabana, those references that are in your text, and then we will have a common front. Okay, where we are working. Very good. Now I want to go to the next one. You are welcome. So let's take yes, I've seen your hand up. I want you to address the next one. So we have looked at we have seen the development discussion. And we have seen the decolonization and identity one. I want us to look at another quick one that we can easily take off our shoulder. Okay, that is the God, religion, and morality one. What do you have to say to the problem of evil, what it is, and how one may want to address it, and what a possible counter response will be? This is part of one of the central questions of contemporary life. Even politics is heavily infiltrated. Look at American politics and how many prophecies came. Trump will kneel here, and people think that Biden and the lady were not too religious. They had become depraved. I'm showing how this America, for Christ's sake, not some African nation, but I will say that these people are heavily religious. You see that? But religion seems to be penetrating into areas that you would have thought, given our so-called enlightened times that we are in, people shouldn't look at. But it is a contemporary issue. That's the whole point. Religion, politics, religion, economics, religion, human welfare, and international relations, military intervention. Look at the Jew, Israel, and the Palestinians. There is a religious undertone, and so on and so forth. Now, God is central to the discussion of religion. So what did you make from that discussion? Can I have some summaries very quickly from you? I think the class is doing fine. Paisley, do you want to give it a take, or someone else? Please, let's do, because we have a whole 2 main topics that I want to help you navigate. They are not new topics, but I want to make sure I have spoken to it. Go ahead, sir. Ainsley, you're muted, please.
Please, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, sir.
Yes, please. Yes, thank you, Doc. Concerning God and the problem of evil, what I've learned so far is that the problem of evil is a human problem, and we can summarize the evil as pain and or suffering. That's how human summarize evil to be. And so many people have spoken about the ancient cultures, and when you take somebody like Pythagoras, he says good God responsible for good things, therefore there cannot be good God responsible for bad things. And so in that, you can realize that when there is God, I mean, there is no evil because He is a good God. And so you cannot have evil. Therefore, you can realize that evil or the what we call pain is what human being has conceived as evil. Because when you are okay, you said God is good, but when you are not okay or you are feeling pain, then you say there's no God. And so when you take the Plato or the Neo-Platonists, and they say that the ultimate principle is the good, which is the Christian God. And so, in that sense, evil must have come from another source. So, when we have the ultimate principle, which is God or the good, meaning that the evil cannot be present. And so, when we talk about evil, then we must think about something bringing in the evil instead of it. Yes, please. Doc, this is what I can talk about for now.
Thank you very much. That is fine and well presented, except that it just highlights the personal problem of evil, which is not so much our focus, because that is heavily religious. But there is the philosophical one, you know, which they are not too distinct, except that the emphasis is not on how I am feeling or how you are feeling. I'm feeling hurt that God didn't come through for me, or I feel sad that I've had faith in him and he didn't do it for me and he has left me, like Job was crying and God came to give him his peace of mind and stuff like that. That is the personal problem of it. It's fine. But the focus really is on the philosophical challenge. So in other words, excuse me, please, someone help me state the problem of evil, philosophically speaking, the one that raises the fundamental issue for contemporary us, you and I, okay? Not the one that I feel. I can be atheist in that sense of it, that there's no God, and still appreciate painful things, that this is painful, this is not pleasant. You see that? That would be the personal problem of evil. Now let's look at the philosophical problem. So anybody wants to add to what Kinsley has said? It's just the four hands I see, that there is a God that is claimed to be, and I speak that way because I'm speaking what someone is saying. Okay, that their God is supposedly all-knowing, all-powerful, all-benevolent, and yet, if he's benevolent and he's good, then the presupposition is that he shouldn't like it. And if he doesn't like it and he's capable of stopping it, then he must stop it. And so if he's capable of stopping it and he knows that there is evil, wow, because he's all-knowing. And he's good, which means he won't like evil, and yet he doesn't stop it. Then either one of the attributes that we claim he has, he doesn't have it, or that he has it, but he doesn't exist at all. I mean, who can cry? Some people's one is funny, that he doesn't even exist, cry, for us to say he has all this. There might not be any God anyway, says some of them. Very, very, very atrocious. Okay, that is the problem. So how can he have all these characteristics and yet there's evil? You see, that is it's a fundamental thing. Before I even talk about my personal problem that he didn't solve. But the thing is, if he has it, knowledge of it, he has the capacity to stop it, and he hates evil. Why should he hate it? Because he is good, all benevolent, and yet he doesn't stop it. Then someone wants to query, are you sure this God knows all things? Or that he knows, but is he capable of doing all things? Or that he's capable, but he doesn't really have a good character, Biasa. So he's part of the conspiracy to make things bad for people and so on and so forth. That's the problem. And we engage it to see how you may want to confront it critically as a mind, as a philosophical mind. Okay. You want to remember the discussions there, how you can critique that. Then there was a philosophical argument about God. What are some of the arguments? Please, everyone. Chorus answers, 1-1.
Ontological argument.
Very good. Ontological one.
Doctor, cosmological argument.
Cosmological. Very good.
Teleological argument.
Very good. Teleological. Moral argument. Very good. So you know who said what. You know who said what and how you can critique it. Remember Pele's song. Then you can talk about Pascal's wager. Pascal thinks that it is, Pascal thinks that it is wiser if you were betting. It is wiser to believe that there is God, even if you don't have a basis. It's a better bet than if you bet that he doesn't exist. Then you go and find that he exists. It's better to bet if you were betting. It means you don't have certainty. But bet that, well, maybe there's God, and then live right according to his precept. If you die and there's no way, you don't lose out. But if you go and say, oh, I'm betting that he doesn't exist, you don't live with any rules and regulations. Then you die. Now you go and face him. Suppose he's there. So he says that it is wiser to bet that way, even if we don't have basis. That's a weak way of arguing for the existence of God. But well, that sounds rational for some. So that's Pascal's wager. Okay, we saw that. Then we saw this paper that I want to touch on, the relationship between science and religion in the 21st century. Jechi commenting on a lot of authors, but I think we've stressed on Ian Barber. What does the paper say? Or what was the discussion? Hey, the same 3 hands. Sarah, hold on. Please, what did the paper say, my dear friends? Okay, so you will go and revise it. Okay, thank you all. Let's go to the next one. Religion and morality. I want us to look at it a little. You can see my screen. Now, this is the author, John Smith. John Smith. Excuse me. Religion and morality. Please keep looking on the screen. I presume that you would have read it. I saw Joseph giving you prompts. The key things I see there in the discussion is first to tell you that we all agree that, keep looking on my screen, okay? We all agree with Kant. Where is the highlighter? That morality must be autonomous from religion. That one, John Smith emphasizes, agrees with Kant and many thinkers on that. See, this is many thinkers. What does he agree with them on? I'm simplifying the text for you. That what? Morality must be treated as what? Autonomous. It holds itself distinctly from what? Religion. In other words, we don't make morality founded on religion. We shouldn't foundation. We shouldn't root morality on religion, because a lot of arguments have gone on. So when you read it, you see that to fall in place, because people could abuse it. Religion could become authoritarian. Imagine someone's faith told him that if we want good harvest, we should sacrifice 9 virgins at the junctions. That is religion at work, prescribing right and wrong. If we encourage that, we will have things like that. Someone's faith, religion is what? Your faith in something can prescribe to the person that we must not allow women to lead anything. It will be problematic. So I can go on and on and on. I just gave you a few instances. Someone's religion could tell him or her, I don't know if it's correct, that anybody that does not join your faith is an infidel. Crucify them. Do you know how the church expanded? Some, not the church, some. I mean, look at how people came in the name of, enlightening you and giving you proper faith. Before you knew it, they had they had done ethnic cleansing. You can read and see. They've destroyed a whole ethnic group because they said they are living a cake, unenlightened, bastardly, apologies, life. So they impose faith. What we are trying to show you in this pictorial evidence is that, where is my thing? Are you seeing my scroll? What you are seeing is not what I'm projecting. Have you seen the book? Or it disappeared? And you go out, but nobody told me. That's what I'm in a good mood, Basa. Where is it? This one. There. I hope you can see the Journal of Religion now. John Smith. I'm on page 86. I've highlighted 2 things. Please, can you see it?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes,
Very good. Very good. So the gentleman, thank you. So he emphasizes the autonomy of morality from religion. And action has to be right in itself. Whether or not your faith agrees with it, should be beside the point. Otherwise, you can't hold the atheist accountable for anything. He will tell you he doesn't believe in any God to prescribe anything. But we should be able to still discuss right and wrong, good and bad, even if we are dealing with atheists. He cannot say, me, I don't serve any God, or I don't have any religious dictate, so I feel okay to rape. If you rape, whether we are people of faith or not, we should be able to have a standard, there we go, that transcends that. So back to you, Tifro. It's an action right because the God says so. Or the gods rather say it is right because already the action is right in itself. And we know what the Socratic lesson is, that let the gods endorse it. But it is because they see the action to be right already. That is why they do the endorsement. So before the gods will say that this is right or wrong, the thing would have been right or wrong in itself. And so that's autonomy that this man agrees with Kant and his cohorts on. I want to pause. Any question before I build on it? So the whole discussion here, all the plenty brought for, consequently, all notions of rewards and punishment, heteronomy, is to make that point. See what is happening here. When we ask the question of the relation between the nature of God and standards of what is good, we are raising a problem which has 2 distinct features. So morality and God, the God factor. God is an authority. Morality seems to be an authority. It was expounding on the autonomy thing. Okay, you have to read that. I've made that point. The whole thing is mainly to show that first. Then he goes further to say that, but religion still has a role to play in morality. Not the role of an authoritarian, a dictator, or a foundation. No, that will undermine the very much needed autonomy that morality must have. Please, you understand? I'm trying to make it very simple. So what is this role that religion still plays and therefore relates with morality in a way that we must encourage? This is what this man is saying. There is something that religion does to morality that must be encouraged, that must be preserved. Not that we should go and found morality in religion. That will be problematic. He has already said that. It can be abused. Before long, people will tell you, go and leave your husband. Come and live with me. God says I should tell you that. Even if the action is wrong. The person will say, hey, it was the religious authority that said that. And then people won't query anything. See that. So let's see what he proposes. I want to get to that page where he discusses, then we read them one after the other. Just so that you know, please, I'm on page 8. Look at it. Please. Esther, read, excuse me. And I read this and let everybody hear.
All right.
Please read it. Sorry, sister. Sorry, read this one rather first. For those who will never read it again. I know people won't read anything. I know. So they will say, oh, can I you have something? Hey, I did, my people. It shall be well. You do fine. Don't worry. Where is it? Sister, read this one, please.
All right, dog. Or the question may be made more concrete by asking, what is the relation between moral standards and moral passion and that faith in God as the ground and goal of life, which is the
sister, sorry, read it from the beginning so that it makes sense. Sorry,
okay.
I want you to understand. So read from what is the relation?
Okay. What is the relation of religion so conceived to the content and form of morality?
Everybody should understand that is the problem. He thinks that there is a relation anyway after all that has been said in the beginning there, showing how religion has been contentious, imposing itself. I'm giving you, religion is not only Christianity or Islam. Religion is varied. But even these two alone, look at the trouble it can cause. When I say trouble, you should understand me, yeah. The transitions, the viewpoint, the life practical differences, and how there are a lot of debate. Look at I said Palestinian and Israel, the thing going on is there. It's a strip of land that everybody thinks is there. Some say my great grandfather, Moses time talk. They want to say this, Abraham time talk. What is religion? Fundamental. That has been fueled by politics and some other things. You see that? So as soon as we make our morality founded on religions or religion, there is a controversy around it. So now the gentleman is asking the pertinent question that is bothering us now is what? Sister, read it. What is the what?
What is the relation of religion so conceived to the content and form of morality?
Please continue.
Okay. Or the question may be made more concrete by asking, what is the relation between moral standards and moral passion and that faith in God as the ground and goal of life, which is the answer to the basically religious question of man's ultimate destiny?
There is a certain faith that people have in God that could inspire how they act, how they behave, all in the bid to have a better life in the future. It is always about the action, destiny. The future may be tomorrow. The future may be the next day. The future may be 10 years from now. Every action you are embarking on, I mean, if you are paying tithe now, someone who believes in tithing, the 10% you give of your resources, it is because you want to obey God out of love for him so that he will love you back. Is there not an end in sight? Yes. Others will say, so that he says, give and it will come back to a good measure. So I'm giving so that I'll get it. I will. It is always in the future. Children, obey your parents in the Lord so that your days may be long. Give me. Everything has a futuristic posture. It's about destiny. The next, not the past. You're not doing something, you're not obeying God now because of the past. You're obeying because of something else that will come afterwards. Future. The future can be the next 1 minute. And he thinks that goal is ahead. Goal is never behind. Your goal is not past tense. The goal is future. The future can be heaven, far away, or 10 years from now. I'm serving this man well because God says we should serve our masters well. So that when we also become masters, future, it's always the future, that goal. Now watch, there is a certain passion the passion spurred on by faith in God to make you act morally. The man is going to say something about this. He says that is what religion does to morality. So you can be very patient and do the right thing for its sake. That is what Kant says. Not because of any authority saying it or any end in sight, but do the right thing for its sake. So you know it's not good to insult people, so you insult. But your neighbor has been insulting you, are pouring water at the front of your house. When you are going, you go, dirty smelling fish. You can be very patient and do the right thing for its own sake, but only for a while. If there is no inspiration outside of I'm doing it for its sake, I'm doing it for its sake, for its sake, for its sake. Now you go job. Before long, you will start reacting, says John Smith, unless that sense of morality is anchored, actually, it's not founded in it, but it is anchored in something. It is inspired by something, some authority, some expectation of an ultimate destiny. That expectation, that goal, is what religion or faith puts into morality. So if it is not there, the breathing, I said the fan, what you are using to fan morality, the fire of morality, is religion. If there's religion, the moral act is right in itself, yes, you will do it. But before long, you get tired. It will finish. But the inspiration, the fuel, the passion to do it comes from the expectation one has in life in the future. And I say, when you hear future, don't only think heaven. Even how you're living with people now, tomorrow, the next day, will be influenced by, if you're a person of faith, you know that is the right thing to do. I have to give what is due the woman. The woman gave me more change that I was supposed to get. Kant says the principle must be right in itself. It's not because of any, I'm not going to give it to her so that she'll give me extra cocoa or extra chicken because I brought her money. If you do that, it doesn't act out of duty, says Kant. So Kant says, do the right thing for its own sake. Now, John Smith is saying, you will have inspiration to do it if that right thing you are doing is inspired by a religious dictate, by an authority that you can trust. Even if the action is good in itself, religion plays that role. And if religion is not there, we are going to look at the 3 points you make, then we are done. If religion is not there, before long, when the person gives you 90 cedis extra, you gave her 5 cedis. He's supposed to give you 1 cedi. The person saw the money as 100 cedis. You bought something 1 cedi from 5 cedi. She's supposed to give you 4 cedis. She puts it in her money bag, and when she's giving you change, she gives you 99 because she thought you gave her 100. Look at the note; they look alike. And she gave you 99 Ghana cedi. You didn't even see it immediately. You've taken car and come to Legon campus when you were buying the thing at Accra, Bush Road. At Legon campus, then you look at the change she gave you because you were online listening to a lecture. I didn't check. You have to return the money to the woman. You say, oh, this one there, I know that even God will understand. You know that some people say, oh, when I make a say, God will understand. That thing happened at Kuma said, oh, how can I go back? You have to go and give it to the driver. Tell the driver that this money was the woman at that place. When you please collect her number for me. Why? Let me send it back to her. But some of us will think that, oh, wait there, even God knows that I tried. I'm trying to explain that the inspiration to do it and continue to do the right thing, according to this man, is better achieved. The inspiration, you get that inspiration when there is faith. You see, this is one of the things religion does to aid the practicing or the obedience to moral dictates. I don't know if you have a question, then we'll look at the rest. So that is what Sister has read. She read the question. I have summarized it for you. We are on page 8, I think. Here, the PDF page 8 of 11. He said, what is the relation so conceived to the content and form of morality? What is the relation of religion? If you think of religion this way, a certain way up there, then what is the relation of religion understood this way to the content and form of morality? It relates to morality both in terms of the content of the morality and the form of the morality. There is something religion does. Then he says, let me clarify the question. I can put it in a different way, more concrete. It should have flesh. What is the relation between moral standards, thou shalt not, and moral passion? I know that I shouldn't, but what spurs me on to do it? I could just be obeying like mechanistically. He gave a scenario, the servant obeying the master. How many of you saw that? If you saw it, unmute and say, I saw it. I'm listening. If you don't listen, I'll close the lecture. He gave a scenario, a master, a slave that obeys the master when the master has traveled. He has never heard from you. He's just obeying the graph. Versus the one that, how many of you saw it? Did you read this paper? In the annual Adolfo Christo. You won't respond. Nobody read it. And it's in I read it. Hey, only one person read it. One guy. My questions are there. Are you? They are there. I'll ask you it will be mismixed. So you have to have read it. Like I won't use time to do this one. Please, I beg you, and read it. He talked about, obedience, a master, a slave that his master has traveled. He's just doing blind obedience, mechanistic, versus a relational obedience. And he showed one of them has passion. You're doing the thing out of love for the person. It's not just mechanistic. And that is what religion does. Makes morality meaningful. Let's look at it then. Okay. So, where was I? And passion, and that faith in God as the ground and goal of life, which is the answer to the basically religious question of man's ultimate destiny. Where you ultimately want to be inspires how you are acting. Whether you are doing morality without faith or you are doing morality with faith, it is all inspired by where you want to be next. It can be tomorrow. Why is it that you are studying hard now? It's the right thing to do because of what? Is it heaven? No. But there's an output you want to attain by your obedience to moral dictates. Okay. There's always a futuristic look at it, and put religion there, it makes it easier. Now, I want people to read so that I can summarize. He says all the things I've said in some few words. So now you can read from here, please. Page 91. I'll be picking them small, so that you don't read the whole thing. So please read this one.
All right, Doc. In attempting to meet the issue here, it must be said categorically that Kant and all defenders of the autonomy of morality are correct. Please let me
take note. Everybody should take note of what the man said here before you continue to listen to what else he's had. He's never against the fact that morality is autonomous, autonomy. Morality, and actions, rightness or wrongness should not be determined by religious inspiration. There's a reason why we speak that way. I want you to be careful. Those of us who are very religious, some of this, when we hear it, and say, hey, because God told someone, kill. When you go kill, do you hear? Say yes. If you don't kill, it has become sin. But another time, he says, thou shalt not kill. You have to obey. So when it is religiously inspired, one thing can be right this minute. The next minute, it can be wrong. Preaching can be wrong when it is done against God's instruction. Now, that is because we are speaking Christianese. Imagine the traditionalist also brings his dictates. Some thought that we had to, didn't you see someone, Ben, goat and Ghana flag when we were going to do 2020 goat. He bent goat wearing Ghana flag. That is his faith. Someone can bury so and so number of cows, saka, or give it away to people for the year. You too, you will see it and you say the person is doing a occultic something. Some stand at junctions. There are some students that do that. I see them in the spirit. They stand at 4 corners. Oh yeah, the cross junctions or the T junctions. And bath. Oh yeah, those who sell. You should observe. You see what I'm telling you. There are places where you get the things are there. I'm talking religion. As soon as you make it inspire morality, we have a dictate to morality, or you found morality on it. Don't be openly religious and think everybody's religion is like yours. Because you think yours is fine and I think mine is fine. It has to be neutral so that we can hold everyone accountable. Where we are lucky and our faith coincides with what we believe in and what we think is right or wrong, all the best. But where someone thinks human sacrifice, 3 human heads will solve this thing. Whereas the Moabites, they were sacrificing little children. Moabites in the Bible. That is what the abortion thing is about. Abortion that people want to sanction and make it normal. Even at 8 months, 7 months, they want to endorse killing of such babies in the name of rights. Pro-choice? Hey, we have to open our eyes, people. But that is faith. People had it as their faith. So imagine that faith inspires right or wrong. It means it will be okay every year to line up virgins, little girls, virgins, look for the portions that has no blemish, to go and sacrifice to Baal. Ruth in the Bible was a priestess of Baal, helping to sacrifice little children. Read her background until she found the God of Israel. Why am I saying all this? Is to show you that religion being the foundation of morality can be problematic, can be. So the man tells you, John Smith is telling you here, and Estina read it in the text, look at it, that I'm going to attempt to resolve and show that with all that have been said, there is still a relationship, a role that religion plays in morality. But before I set off, I want to tell you something, and I want to make it clear so that you don't misquote me. People do that. What did he say? Tina, read it again, please.
In attempting to meet the issue here, it must be said categorically that Kant and all defenders of the autonomy of morality are correct.
Somebody, they are correct. It means he agrees with them that that morality is autonomous. Autonomy, italicized. It is the dictates of morality stand on their own. But he's going to expand it and show you something. That you are independent doesn't mean you cannot be helped. Ghana is you see that? That is what he's going to do. Ghana is a sovereign nation. Then are you laughing at me or Johnny Bravo is tackling you there? Eh? Is it me you're laughing at? Or Johnny is tickling you now? What's this?
No,
Johnny Bravo, Johnny Bravo.
Hey, Johnny, eh? Hey, Johnny. Johnny, let me finish. I'll finish right now. Let them start me. Everyone listen. See, the fact that you are autonomous doesn't mean you cannot be helped. So he's going to show that. Ghana is a sovereign nation, but can go for help. You are your own. You have rented your place and you live there. You are what they want. But if you are carrying a load that is heavy, someone can help you carry it to your room. And then say, oh, thank you, and come. It doesn't take away from your being autonomous. But you will struggle if you were carrying it alone. And so the man tells you that I understand that this lady can live by herself autonomous. But at this time, she will feel good. So I want to help her with a companion. Johnny, this I read. The Good Life. Read very fast. Why? Or you're angry at me? Hey, is Johnny Bravo there? I said, tell Johnny that he should wait. We'll finish right now.
But no, it wasn't me laughing at first. It wasn't me.
But it was who? Yeah, I know your voice.
I'll be like, Johnny is there.
All right.
Right.
The good life, as Spinoza has well said, is not a means to something else, but is itself a supreme end. Hence, morality must be autonomous in the sense, and no alien considerations such as craving fear. I don't know what if I'm correct though. Hence, morality must be autonomous in this sense, and no alien considerations such as craving fear of a
Craving fear. Like you crave for something.
Okay,
In other words, being afraid of a tyrannical deity. He's saying
okay.
that people shouldn't obey right and wrong because they fear some, Leviathan God. You see that Leviathan level 300. Bosu, some tyrannical, very wicked, fearful grandpa, God, who is forcing them to obey. He says that it is not some alien consideration such as the fear of some wicked God and the dread of persecution from an absolutistic church, a church that when be able to us and you, they will excommunicate you. That is why you are obeying. Morality must not have that kind of foundation. In other words, what you are doing to be right or wrong should not be as a result of the dictate. It's the same thing he's repeating of some overbearing church doctrine. If we catch you doing this or that, we will excommunicate you. So you just obey and do the so-called thing they say you should do. Not because you find reason with it, but because you have been what? You are craving a fear of being what? Excommunicated or dominated upon or whatever. Okay, read. Read it from there without understanding. Hence, hey, Tina. Tina saying the event as you. Where is Tina? Yeah, Johnny, Johnny, let us sit up minutes. I beg you. The angel on duty is telling me in my left ears that Johnny.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hence, morality must be autonomous in this sense, and no alien considerations, such as craving fear of a tyrannical deity or dread of persecution from an absolutistic church, should be admitted as validly determining the conduct of human persons. Nor again should any non-considerations, any
Yes.
considerations of earthly gain or worldly reward and success be primary conditions determining truly moral conduct.
He's adding that we shouldn't also perform actions because of what we will gain from it. You see that it sounds like Kant. It shouldn't be because I'm returning the woman's money, like I said, so that she sells, then she'll give me some chicken. Or somebody left their money in your taxi driver. Then you see it, you say, hey, let me return this money. After all, if I return it, maybe you'll give me 10%. If you go and doesn't give you 10%, you'll be disappointed. But maybe it's not his money. So you can say, oh, brah, God bless you, eh? God will bless you. And you will see that the God bless you, in fact, because you are thinking that, this thing I've done, you couldn't even give me 10% of it. Oh, that means you didn't do the thing because it is right in itself. You did it because of what you get. And so he's trying to say that doesn't make morality right. So he says we shouldn't conduct or think of morality in that life. The good life is one that doesn't do this one. Hence, morality must be autonomous in this sense. We shouldn't do right or wrong because some fearful, old grandpa God be with tyranny, authoritarian be is looking out for it. So you have to obey. No. Nor should we do it because of the outcomes. Are you following, please, everyone? Hey.
Yes, please.
Yes, Doc.
I just late is at work.
We are
Hey,
following.
Amanfo. Thank you very much. So, sister, we are here. Continue. Sarah, are you there? Who else can aid Tina? Gabriel, are you there? You are laughing at your Tina, yes, you. Tina is hot, but I know what I'm telling you. Eh? I thought your class is at 10. Eh? Sorry, me uncle. And Tina can't see anything. Tina, we are waiting. Adjustly. Hey, you Gabriel, read for me. I see that you're laughing. Are there?
Don't see something.
Sarah, read for me. Tina is gone today. She's going to remove the things from the lines. She'll be back right now. Go ahead. The good is to be chosen.
The good is to be chosen for its own sake, just as the good life is to be lived for its own sake. And in both these respects, morality is truly autonomous and must ever be regarded as much.
So, as such, so what he said earlier, Nina, is to make this point that it doesn't have to be the consequences of the action that makes you perform them, and it must not also be the so-called instigator, some authoritarian boss that forces you. So it shouldn't be a force that is making you act force by force. You didn't want to. You see that God didn't create us without a will. That kind of love is by force love. Creating us to by force obey you. It's not sweet. The person has to choose to love you. I lay before you this day, life and death. See that? But I advise that you choose life. That is why the tree of knowledge of good and evil was there. So you choose to obey him, and there. That is nice. Not that you created me so that I'm like a machine. When I wake up, oh, we love you, God. We love you, God, and we are bound. It's not a choice. It's too mechanistic. So you're obeying, you're doing the right and wrong. Must not be because you have been forced to, says the author, agreeing with Kant. Remember your moral philosophy. Neither should it be because of the consequences. Because if it is the consequences, then the day that you won't get that consequence, you won't do it. It undermines the efficiency, the essential meaning of the action. So you do it because it is the right thing to do for its own sake. The thing is right in itself. This is what he's saying. Very good. We're almost done, eh? Sister, continue here. Then I'll skip some of the paragraphs which are repetitive.
However, the question still remains as to the relation between morality and religion. We must ask the extent to which morality is dependent for its content on the norms and concept derived from historical religion.
Good. Where did we get thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill? It is wrong to kill. It is wrong to this. Where did we get it? This man is saying that some of the content of morality, we say it is autonomous, but the content of morality, some have historical antecedent. If maybe it is coming from somewhere. Religion. We haven't talked form yet. So sister, continue. Should I take it up so you see where you got to? It was here.
Also,
oh dear. Just a minute. I want to put it there for you. This is an extract, so you will see it. So we must ask the extent to which morality is dependent for its content on the norms and concepts derived from historical religion and also from what source comes to. Please go ahead from there. Sister, please go ahead from there.
Yes, please. And also from what source comes the inspiration to shun pleasure, wealth, and worldly success in order to live that type of life which is in accord with the most exalted moral principles.
That's all. I've said all this. Can you see that? Where do I get the inspiration to shun pleasure? Charlie? Pleasure, pow. This is Johnny Bravo. Sugar daddy, bipa. the things he can give you. You just have to do flip of your finger. Then you'll be at Dubai this weekend with a flashy car. You know, the things that people like. It's the same nowhere, you know, that I can say on air. This same thing that is in front of every woman that you two have. The one that the other lady is using to get things. You two have some. My sister, where you get a drift. There's pleasure. But there is a certain inspiration that religion will give you to spur you on to shun. Shun means resist. Don't like it. You reject certain pleasures. The thing is pleasurable, it's pleasing, it's sweet, it's good, but you shun it. What inspires that? Continue, baby. You are done. Continue, and I'll do the animal welfare thing.
In biblical religion, the answer to these questions is clear. The ideals, which are
Sarah, is it your background that has the Johnny Bravo people there? I've muted all. Please unmute and let me see if it's there. We'll change it. Right.
In biblical religion, the answer to these questions is clear. The ideals, into bracket, the contents, which are to govern human existence in society, are derived from the nature of the divine. And it is the love of God, into bracket, form, that furnishes the path to live the good life in a world which often thwarts our most determined attempts to embody Christian perfection.
It's okay. The rest is straightforward. So if I love God, then the form of love that I have for God is what I demonstrate to my fellow man. The Bible tells you clearly, I cannot say I love God. I love God. When I can't love the person I see, God, you can't see, you say you love. So a vertical love is better expressed horizontally. That gives you a form of morality, right and wrong. It gives you a pattern that you should follow. And the content itself is dictated by the same religion. This is what religion is doing, inspiring the content and the form of what morality. Look at, when you continue, you see that this paragraph tells you, man is required to manifest love in his earthly life because according to blah, 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 God is of the nature of love. God himself is love. So you see, he references the Christian religion. That is specific. So you can point to something there. You can go on there to see all these parts to the end there, giving you instances of religion inspiring form and content. I could write that in an exam and say John Smith agrees with Kant on the autonomy of morality. Yet he argues that religion, to bracket Christian, is essential to the effective practice of morality. Full stop. That's the preamble. Using practical illustrations, give a critical assessment of his view. I could even tell you to oppose him, or I could tell you to agree with him, or I could leave it open. If you push me, I can make that a compulsory question. I could do that. How does religion do form and content? If you still say that morality is autonomous, you have to be able to show that. So the rest of that page, which I won't let us read, is giving you instances where the content, look at thou shalt not kill. It's just what Kant is saying when he says, do unto others what you want. The golden rule. Karma. When you throw a ball at the wall, it will come back. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You just give and it will come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. Okay. So we come to the right side, still showing you how religion inspires. That's all. Then we move to the next one. Keep looking. I want to see if I've not left anything. This is it. Hence, same thing. Hence, love of God as the basis of morality involves as in no subjugation to an external authority, necessitating conduct through fear, but it is rather the underlying attitude and motive of the person who seeks to live a good life, who then becomes a consistent expression of an individual will and personality rooted in God. He's just trying to make the point that when I do things because God said I should, it will not mean that God is a headmaster, necessitating conduct through fear, making me afraid, so I'm obeying. It will rather make me love genuinely, because that love is rooted in God. Sister, read from here. We have 2 pages left for this one, then we can wrap up. A true morality.
A true morality that is, it should be free from any external authority that coerces the personality or that subjects the good life to some further end by reducing it to the status of a means.
Good. So the good life is an end in itself. It shouldn't be a means, like living morally right life. Should be the end. It shouldn't be I'm doing that so that it can give me something. It shouldn't be a means to attain something else. It should be the end that we want to achieve. Sister, read from here. And autonomous.
An autonomous morality, however, is not necessarily one that is divorced from religious foundations. And the question remains as to what it is that constitutes the religious basis of morality.
Very good. Don't continue. He has argued and come back to where he started. He thinks that you can be autonomous, Otto. It doesn't mean you won't need an anchor. So morality is better served when it has a certain rooting. See what he started, corrected and corrected. He's bringing it back in, but with a clearer understanding of how morality works. It must have a basis of sort in religion. The question remains as to what it is that constitutes the religious basis of morality. Is it that it is the dictating factor? No. It's not religion that is dictating what is right or wrong. No. But what? Then he starts naming them. He names 3 things. Sister, read it. I want to end though, but I fear that you will need those. That's why I keep looking. So read it. Read it. You are here. What is the thing that serves as the basis for the religious basis for morality? Read from the prophetic Judaism. Someone else wants to read? Raise your hand. They are tired. Go ahead.
Prophetic Judaism and classical Christianity are at one. It's ultimately
at one. Please, are at one in maintaining that. We lost that part.
Okay. Prophetic Judaism and classical Christianity are at one in maintaining that morality without religion is ultimately impossible. Only the main point in this regard can be stated here, but the following relations between the two are defensible.
So you see that he's going to make a defense for the claim that morality without religion is ultimately impossible. Do you see what he's finally going to say? It's as if he wasn't going to say it. But I know how to. He said you can't do morality without religion. It is impossible. He's agreeing with prophetic Judaism and classical Christianity. Not the versions that may have been corrupted, but the one we know, the classical Christianity we know, and prophetic Judaism is such that you cannot practice any of them without morality. The morality that has such sustenance will require the religious filtration of sorts. So we have to know the way in which these two positions can be defended, because he's going to defend them. My dear, read. 1.
1. No criticism of the existing state of affairs in any society is possible without the assumption, that is, whether implicit or explicit, of the unconditional validity of standards by reference to which such criticism is made.
Hold on, let me explain that. You don't have to read everything. Anytime we say you shouldn't have done this, we would have been appealing to some authority, some standard. A standard that we think has unconditional validity. You see that? As soon as I criticize you that, you shouldn't have talked back at your mother like that. It's a criticism. That statement presupposes, whether explicitly or implicitly, that there is a standard of how to talk to our mothers, which is valid without any condition. So I'm thinking that you have gone against that standard. Why did you add 2 and 3 and you said the answer is 6? You shouldn't have added that way. It's a prescription I just made. It means I'm saying that there is a way to add 2 and 3. You didn't do it that way. That way to add 2 and 3 is valid unconditionally. It is right without any, without any picture. Why did you drive into the lawn, the grass? You shouldn't have done that, Johnny. If I say that, it means I am trying to appeal to a standard be that we agree on unconditionally, that it is valid, that we shouldn't be driving on lawns. So the point is, no criticism of the existing state of affairs in any society is possible without a certain assumption. The assumption that what? That standard that I referred to has unconditional validity. Now he's going to argue down there to show you that what standard will any morality use? They will appeal to a certain standard. Who is feeding that standard? What is inspiring that standard? If we say that killing is wrong in itself, what is the standard we want to preserve? Oh, the value of human life. The value of human life that has done what? It has to appeal to a certain valid, unconditionally valid assumption, standard, and that one is provided by religion. That is what he's going to say. So I won't say anything again. I need to read. That's the first point. Religion offers the standard that inspires the obedience to right and wrong, good and bad, that morality does. It's religion that gives that standard, that unconditionally valid standard that inspires any action. I'm saying that it is wrong to have done this wrong. It can even be mathematics, driving. Why did you hit my mouth when I ate one of the cassava? This is someone pointing and I'm staring. I'm telling them. So the one, if the guy uses the person to hit your mouth, you will say, no, you shouldn't be hitting my mouth when I'm doing this. You shouldn't. As soon as you say you shouldn't, you're saying there is a way to point fufu. And that one has objective validity. That's the standard that you are appealing to judge, to criticize. Now he makes that claim to show that any moral claim, any criticism, any judgment of right and wrong appeals to an unconditionally valid claim. Now, who or what defines that? And then you say religion does that. That's what religion does. Morality. Okay, so if you read this holds whether, for example, we are criticized, I'm here. Let me help out so that I do the last lap, then I can rest tight. This holds whether, for example, we are criticized for not loving our neighbors, for not seeking clarity in philosophical thought. You see the point I said? Fufu, mathematics, the law. Anywhere you are making a judgment and saying this shouldn't have been, this should have been, even in your philosophical thinking, if you say, oh, but you should have critically examined that, it means I'm saying there's a valid way of doing so that you have deviated from. And that valid way I'm appealing to is supposed to have unconditional validity. We don't question it. It's a standard. Furthermore, standards intended to tell us what to be done. cannot and in fact do not remain neutral. I'm here. They are not neutral with respect to the question, which is the properly religious one. I've made the point. There, watch. An analysis of every critical discussion of human conduct containing assertions that are evaluations will reveal that a proposition like the truth about man's final destiny is such and such is implied. Anytime we make a propositional statement, even if it is not directly moral, but it's a judgment that you shouldn't have done this or you should have. If I tell you, you didn't do the deduction right, deductive logic, I am making a statement about how you graduate. That's what I'm doing. It has to do with your final destination. Hey, you didn't greet the supervisor. Hey, when you enter the interview room, you do close your flap after you using the washroom. If I say that it is a prescription about how you will get or not get a job, that's what I'm doing. It's always about final destination. Everything. If I talk about your nails, hey, so you won't clean your nails. This is to a 3-year-old. I'm talking about how he will be lashed at assembly at class 6. Right now he's in class 3. If he doesn't listen or she doesn't listen, no, Johnny Morris, he keeps leaving his nails. That thing I'm saying now, which may not even be a moral issue, is always futuristic. I'm making a prescription about the future. This is what the man is saying, which is exactly what religion does. That's the second thing. Religion gives a hope, a reason ahead why we should act the way we are acting morally. Now, that's one. 2, it gives a standard that is unconditionally valid, which every claim of morality requires to be meaningful. If you don't put that to it, do right and wrong doesn't make meaning. It's empty. It's just container, don't throw it. Religion puts content and gives form. This is what John Smith is saying. So morality is on its own, yes, autonomous, yes, but it's empty without religion. Religion gives that validation of what? Standards that are unconditional, to which you will appeal to so that do's and don'ts, right and wrong, will make sense. That's one. 2, religion gives us the futuristic posture. You have to always be looking at what you earn from it. If I'm doing this or that, add the thing well. Don't add it this way. This high heel you are wearing on the staircase. Are you? When I say that, is this a question of morality? No. But it is a do and don't, a prescription, and a criticism. Before long, you hear downstairs. That is what you are talking about when you say now. So there's a future ahead, immediate future or long-term future that you are pointing to whenever you make any statement that judges, that says do, don't do. Whether it is even moral or mathematical or philosophical, doesn't matter. That's the second one. Let's add the third one then. I'll end. So my dear, if you come to the point 2, at the right side here, let me highlight it for you. Everybody fears that when we give too much power to religion, like I told you, it could endanger morality. And now it will become a headmaster, and people will be obeying out of hypocrisy and not out of love. But this is his point at point 2. See, a morality, however, truly based on a love of God that is religious in character, and one that recognizes the power of God as judge, is protected in principle from such corruption. Why? Because the system will vet itself. The self-reflection. Moses told you that an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. This is Jesus talking. If you don't do Bible, you can Google it. He said, my people, your father, your boss, champion man, Moses told you that an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I am telling you that if someone removes your eye, give him the other one, let him remove on top. Why? The system checks itself. If you are in a certain so-called faith that doesn't check itself consistently, it is not faith. It has become dogma. No, you check it. It has become an ideology. They told you that if someone doesn't love their wife, they should put them away. And so that blah, blah, blah. But I am telling you, says Jesus, I am telling you that in the beginning it wasn't so. One man, one wife. Are they confused? No. Are they all Christians? Yes. Is it a continuum? Yes. But a system that checks itself. That's why I keep referencing my PIWC, Pentecost International Worship Center. It's still Pentecost. But it is Pentecost that has gone iPhone. You know, it doesn't mean 3310, Nokia 3310 wasn't good. It just means that aeroplane and, you know, bicycle and four-wheel can all get to the destination. Just that one will do it with ease. The other one will do it with what? Difficulty. Asanka, the masher pot can blend the pepper for you, but with a lot of sweat and tiredness and batches of the blending to feed 600 people. The blender can do 600 in 30 seconds, 30 minutes if you like. Grrr, 3 sets, the pepper is ready to serve. So what? So any system that calls itself religion can do what morality is asking it to do, says this man, if that system itself is ready to do self-evaluation. That is the sign. He says, when I see that, then I know that I can embrace that religion's dictate because it will search itself. It won't come like perfect, all-knowing, all-powerful. It won't ask any question. Look at the people who asked me from the stage. I told you, because I'm a woman pastor, Maba. You have ushered me to your own stage. I didn't go there myself. They said the reception to heaven has blocked because I'm going to say it. You can't continue. You have to come and move me from there. It is not allowing itself to ask pertinent. The person is not even your church member. You see that? She will leave. What will happen if you just accommodate that? It's like someone has come home and your daughter ushered him to daddy's seat. The seat is for your daddy, but she's your guest. We are coming to marry from your church. And I'm not a common floor member. So you, in front of the people, they tell, hey, madam, please get up from our daddy's chair. Am I the one who went to sit there? You can wait. It's just a short ceremony. When they go, you do it, you pacify, you do everything. But the chair was vacant. But people's faith, some faiths don't allow for what? Self-scrutiny. And that is what this man advocates against, suggesting that if it is such a faith, then you have to be minded because that thing can become an ideology. Don't bring it near morality. It will insist. If you won't believe in this, they will shoot all of you and kill you. And they will think they are doing the right thing. Think about it. I don't want to be too explicit. They will insist that you must, because it is not allowing for reflection. So if you read this side of it, it says a morality so grounded in religion recognizes that it is subject to the same ultimate principle of criticism, I'm here, by which it judges this one, existing persons and societies. And a morality rooted in that, which transcends, this is the last page, in that which transcends all times because it belongs exclusively to no one time, possesses within itself its own principle of criticism. This one. All right, sister, you finish the last paragraphs or so for me. Why? Then I'm confident, my conscience is clear that I helped you very much. I didn't do that with main campus. We just did the main things, but your own been explicit. It's okay, don't worry. If it cannot do self-reflection, you cannot appeal to it to inspire morality because it will impose. That's what we are trying to say. Any religious dictate that won't even ask. We said that people should not allow women to preach. But this woman, She's at a more example. She's at right now. You see that the deportation is going on somewhere. So people are going to hide somewhere, and there is 2 man there. It's a grandma and all the young guys who went there without documents. They are trying to streamline their documentation, so they are with her. Maybe 13 guys. In the morning, this elderly woman cannot open scripture and say, "Let us pray. Let's share a word of God." Then expatiate and discuss the word of God with them. If she does that, reception to her will be blocked. I want a response from you guys, please. Somebody should help. I'm not following. Tell me something. Let me know if you are there.
Marfo, talk.
It should be possible. Anna.
Yes, sir.
So it just means that when we have that posture, devil's box, so it is wrong to do this. It is not right to do this. The person is feeling cold. Say they can't wear trousers. Say you should be decent. Wear the trousers and wear skirt on it, and wear a nightie crown on it, and walk in town. But to make it such that you can't criticize the religion who is inspiring morality. That one, we don't like that kind of religion, says the man. It will not allow, it will be domineering, it will be, it will compel people, okay? That is the point. Then the last one was, sister, read the point 3, let me see. This is where he said it is like a man. So finally, religion supplies. Sarah, are you still there? Or you too? Kojosile has come for you. And then are you back? When I finish, I'll send you a message.
My network.
Oh, I know.
That was my network.
No, I know. It's a network around Johnny. I know. I understand Johnny network. Hi.
Should I read?
Christina, you are busy.
Please go ahead. So religion can help morality and prevent it from being an ideology if itself is not an ideology. If religion is itself transforming as and when the demands require so, the central tenet remains, but how it is presented. If religion allows itself that, then it can influence morality positively. See that, so that morality doesn't become an ideology, a dictator without considering anything. The last one, Sarah, finally.
Finally, religion supplies the inspiration for the moral life and provides, at the same time, something even more important, the meaning and purpose of moral striving.
Everybody should make a note of that. Maybe some, the form and the content, the inspiration, the need to, the futuristic posture. And now see, meaning and purpose. The meaning to morality. Yes, sir. I won't just obey for obeying sake. Who told you? I'm doing the right thing for the right thing's sake. How long could you sustain that? The guy is throwing saliva at you when you're passing. When you get there, you fetch water and pour on you. You are patient. You're saying that the right thing to do is to walk away. You think every day you can walk away? Unless there's a higher demand placed on you by a reliable authority who is not headmaster, but you have confidence in the future life that authority will guarantee if you kept on being the right person, doing the right thing. That is what inspires you to keep going. Now, this one would have finished in 15 minutes. No conscience, nothing. You have to hold a lecture, right? Yes, I've held a lecture. Finito. So I'm doing the right thing for his sake. But if it's inspired by something else, look, your titan won't buy God anything. The church people. Who told you that the cattle on the mountains? I don't know for what. Your tithing, when you tithe, or when you do whatever you think is fine, you go to church and sing for God or something. It is for you. It's not for him. It's a way of expressing your love for him. So when you do that, you become better. It's not God. Look, I'm tight. This man, they has a made 100 bros. Some questions also. I made 100. And to continue, I mean, I'll have to go and check myself if I come and check at this. Meaning and purpose.
Okay.
Hey, did you hear that one too? Ajay.
The man who has morality and nothing more, as Royce once put it, is like a man who serves an ideal master who is forever in a far country. The servant not only toils on without ever seeing the master, but he may well come to doubt whether there's any master at all.
You see what I
The
was
man,
referencing? People didn't read this. The last page, wait, I can quote it. I'm telling you the wonderful things. I can just quote here. Quote, the servant not only toils on without ever seeing the master, but he may consequently come to doubt whether there is any master at all. From our discussion on John Smith, discuss what this illustration was meant to do in showing the relationship between religion and morality. Do you agree? Why or why not? Full stop. So anybody, if you say, hey, I can ask that. Say, when I see it, I don't answer that one. Do you know how the other one will look like? So I want you to understand. You don't know how the other one will. He says that when we do morality without an inspiration from religion, it is like a servant who is just obeying rules without ever having a relationship, a contact, intimacy, fellowship with the one who is giving the rules. There is no connection. I don't know. I can bear or mean bear. You know, there's a membrane to me. Who says a bind? You know that kind of bind thing. They say we need to stop. That's why we are here. We are all sitting here. There's no connection. There's no relation. When you do that, before long, you won't have reason to do it again. You won't even believe if there is anybody instructing again. It's so easy to stop doing it. That is the point. How about the other one? And we are done. Look at the top there. It starts at the man, however. We start from the down to the next top, then we should go. All right, remember. Sarah, please, the man, however, who's hey, I just lay. Sarah too is gone, Anna. Sarah, you are muted. Do you want to read? Get to double. You were muted,
Yes,
that's why. Okay.
hello,
Madam,
please, I'm here.
Sarah, let's get to help you, eh?
Yes,
Get to
please,
read from
Doc.
here. Thank you so much. You have done very well. The man, however, go ahead.
The man, however, whose morality is founded on religion knows the master in recognition of these truths can be hastened.
Knows the master.
Of these truths. Oh, Madam.
Knows the master. And then what's wrong? Continue. Intimately.
In the above ways.
I'm sorry. Look at me. Are you looking on my screen or you are looking at your own paper there?
Please, your screen.
Okay, so let's read from the down part and I'll roll up. The man, however, whose morality is founded on religion, knows the master. Look at, knows the master. Continue from here.
Okay.
The word is intimately. That's all.
Intimately and believes fully in the ultimately purposeful character of his striving. Furthermore, his vision of the ideal society, the kingdom of God, gives form and substance to his attempts both to regulate his personal life on the basis of certain standards and to labor for the remaking of present society into a likeness of the ideal.
Finish with the last line.
Without the vision, the hope, and finally the faith of religion, such labor is forever incomplete.
Finished. Don't read again. Thank you very much. You have all done well. That is the point he's making. If I am just mechanistically obeying do's and don'ts, I will give up. the inspiration will not be there. I won't even have the content of obedience. I won't have any reason to continue. There's no futuristic look. You see that? There is no standard that I will use as validation. It won't inspire my doing it consistently. There won't be meaning and purpose. This is what religion does to morality. And he was careful to cite specific religions because religions are several. The occultic person who perhaps, I'm told that it's not all occultic people that are bad. Maybe what I understand as occult is negative. But suppose the person thinks that that is his faith. They would also say this is religion, whatever it is they are doing. You see that? So to open the door too wide, to bring in things that don't belong there, they are philosophers. That's why he specifically addresses the type of religious faith he's dealing with. The Christian one, if you like, the Judeo, whatever. That is the context from which he extrapolated his argumentation. You may want to say that, look, there are other religions like this and that, or you mention that, but religious practices that you feel can be problematic, and to show that that is why you wouldn't want any religion around anything. But then you have to answer his question. What then is a motivator? What then is a prescriber? How do you have the form? Who feeds the content? And where is the meaning of the inspiration to continue? I won't do the welfare rights, animal welfare rights. You can just read it and see how the welfareists, because I think that you have enough. But see how some are arguing that take care of the animal, because if you take care of them, then they can be a means to your end. They'll give you food, they'll give you clothing, entertainment, like horses. They can work for you, the cow, and what have you. So they advocate that there are authors that advocate for the welfare of animals only because it will benefit the human person. It's still anthropocentric, the main discussion. But others think that no, we should take care of the welfare of animals because they have a right to it. And that is what generates the contention. They are the abolitionists. They abolish any version of use of animals as a means to an end. They say you human being, you're also an animal. Just that you are a human animal. They are non-human animals. So just as you have sentience, you sense. So you eat, you give birth. Look at the cats when they are having a jolly time. Sometimes you're annoying it. Do you have cats too? They have feelings. They bark when there's flooding and the cat has babies in the room there. It can come and carry them one. I think I did some recording on that on the channel. You can look for 417 at my academic channel on YouTube and see if you can find some resourceful examples there. They sense. They give birth. The chick, the hen gives food to its chicks to find the worms and then split it and give it to the chicks. The way your mother gets busy cooking in the morning for you, the daddies are not there when it comes to those. Okay, maybe they do their job money. All these are signs. Says those who advocate for animal rights. See the right that just as your children must go to school and they must eat. And when we see your child working somewhere, the government can hold you accountable. They think that is how we must treat our animals or the animals that live with us. That they have a right to it. People think, hey, right, they are not shit. We should say we should take care of them, their welfare, their interests, because they benefit us. But the way you want to make it right. So read and see that. That is the part that I wanted you to see. And others whose overemphasis on man, like Descartes, like Aquinas would do a religious thing. Everything was created for man. You know that already. And Kant, who thinks that man cannot be used as a means to an end. These folks elevate the anthropo, man, too high, such that they might render animals as less. But obviously, if we won't use the animal for the scientific lab sense, we won't use the animal to test this, we won't use the animal for entertainment, whose daughter or son, human being for that matter, are we to use? When we have to eat and we have to wear clothing, we need the wool from the sheep. And we want to ride. Whose son or daughter or father or mother should we ride to horse racing or stuff like that. It's a bit contentious if we talk about the animals' welfare as though it is a right they own. But people hold that view. We call them the abolitionists. Abolitionists. They say abolish it. Whilst others think a fair argument that is easy to practice and survive is work out for their interest. Give them a feeding trough. Give them a place to lay their eggs. When it's raining, they should have their hen coop or the sheep pen or something like that. You see that? The style for the pork. Just like you would give your children a place to lay their head. And remember, lastly, that we are moral agents. Human beings are agents. So we make decisions. We have the capacity to make decisions. But they are moral patients. They suffer. They suffer. Oh, they are patient at the hospital. So they should rather be given more attention, more love, more care. And the more you treat the animal well, the better, it's just the indirect welfare, the better you will be able to treat your fellow human being. The way you have taken this club, you are hitting the cat, boom, 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 just because you want supper. You are killing Joseph. You want to use chokoti, a big stick. Some will trap this animal to enter the sack, then they will tie it. And they will hit it on the floor, and the cat will be doing so long till it dies because you want to eat. Will you like it if they treated you, your mother, your father, or your brother or sister that way? So that is basically the discussions in the welfare, animal welfare slide. If you read it, it can augment your environment knowledge. 3 essays, I'm thinking. I hope I don't have to do a compulsory one. 20 marks each. Like I said in class, we add that to your interim assessment. 20 marks, that makes 80. You have an online assessment you did, 10 marks. I'll reconcile that with all the in-class. I will pick the best. That's what I do all the time. And frequency, because I'm hoping that as you keep doing take sheet of paper, you improve. So I like progress. Then we'll work that plus the +1 in-class presentations to work out the 20 marks from there. When we total all, to give you 100 plus or minus our moderation marks. I am done. Any question? Any question, please? I'm so lucky. The network was stable. Please, do you have any question? Right. I hope to pull it out right now. I shared the main campus. Did I share the main campus one with you? Whatever. I'll pull it out and then share it. You may find it useful. Thank you all. Thank you for a wonderful semester. I wish you well. I pray that all your life expectations that are according to God's will come to pass. God be with you all. And bye-bye. Till
Amen.
we meet again. I didn't come on.
Amen.
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 Hey, Johnny. Johnny says. Yo, thank you, my lady. Thank you, my